As we saw with the forelimb, most of the mass at the top of the leg, the hammerhead if you like, is provided by the large muscles that move the whole leg. And they sit in this region behind the leg and in front of the leg. So right in here, from the pelvis down to this very large prominent lever on the top of the femur, the thigh bone, you've got the gluteus muscles, the muscles of the rump. You're probably sitting on your own right now. So a big chunk of steak, if you like, sat in here. Then behind them, muscles like the biceps femoris, which comes all the way down and then attaches right down here on the lower part of the leg, halfway down the leg. Behind that, semitendinosus, which comes all the way down to the inside of the leg. So biceps and semitendinosus. And then from under here, semimembranosus, which is like a big J-shaped muscle. And between them, these three hamstring muscles can pull the leg backwards extremely powerfully, aided by the gluteal muscles in here. So they're the primary thrust muscles at the rump. And you can see the distinction between those, the definition between those muscles if you look at the rump of the animal, because you'll see a couple of grooves. Groove between the biceps and the semitendinosus, and a groove between semitendinosus and semimembranosus. Unless your animal is at the wrong end of the body condition score scale, you can see those quite clearly. In addition to the large muscles pulling the leg backwards, we also have some large muscles in here which pull it forwards, because obviously it takes a lot of force once the leg has gone all the way back. It takes a lot of force to bring it forwards again. And so there's muscles in here, the quadriceps, they're called, 4 pieces of muscle. If you want the names, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medius, vastus intermedius, but collectively the quads, and they go to the patella. And their purposes are to draw the leg forwards, but also pull on the patella and either draw the lower part of the leg forwards by pulling the patella up, or prevent this joint from collapsing. When the animal is standing, there's a tendency for this joint to collapse under the weight of the animal, but the force in the patella, or force acting on the patella, helps prevent that because of the ligaments between the patella and the tibia. And we'll come back to those ligaments when we do ligaments in a minute. But at the moment, just imagine the muscles in here. Then on the medial side of the leg, right in here, there's some very large muscles whose primary action is to prevent the legs from splaying. So they hold the legs in, and so unless the animal is on a really slippery surface, its legs should never be doing that. And of course, it doesn't want to be doing that. Sideward splits are not very much fun in a horse. And notice there's no muscles going up here. You'd think to get maximum pull drawing the leg forwards, it'd be good to have a muscle coming down through here, but that just doesn't exist. So the animal cannot make muscles where it wants them, it's just got to modify the ones it's got. But the ones it does have in this region form this big hammerhead of muscle that drive the action of the leg going both directions. There's very powerful muscles in this region of the hind leg, and names like the Gastrocnemius and the superficial digital flexor, and their main function is to pull on this lever. This lever is the heel bone, or the calcaneus, and it's just the same as your heel bone, but look where it is. It's way up in the air. It's not flat on the ground like our own heel bones. And that's because the lower part of the leg is now part of the shaft of the limb. Notice where this lever is, very strong lever, so the muscles in here have a really powerful propulsive force on the foot. Notice where this lever is compared to the position of the lever on the front leg. The levers are about the same length, but this one operates on a much longer piece of leg, which means its propulsive force is much lower. Even though the muscle force in here is very strong, the propulsive rotation of the foot is low because of the ratio of this lever to the long part of the leg. If we look back here, this lever is just as long, but this one is much shorter, so a lot more of the propulsive force is transferred past the hock joint, down to the cannon bones and to the hoof, and that's going to thrust the animal forwards. So power, propulsive power in the leg comes from the really big muscles around the thigh, but also from the muscles in here.